Good morning, everyone. I can see you all in the chat. Good morning. I hope you guys have had a great morning so far and everything's gone really well. I'm so excited for what we have planned for you guys and all the new things coming up and all the people you guys are going to get to meet. It's really going to be a wonderful event. Okay, so I'll give it one more minute and then I'll open us up.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going really, really well.
Good, good. Jasmine?
Yep, that's me.
Tell me about you, Jasmine.
Okay, well, my name is Jasmine Livingston, but I usually go by Jasmine Camille.
I'm
a mass communications major at Howard University.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dream school. I have a concentration in TV and film as well as journalism. I'm a part of their HU Spotlight, which is our TV network, as well as the National Association of Black Journalists. I do a lot of writing. I'm a spoken word artist and a performer. So I'm really excited about this this entertainment interview. I'm so excited, you guys.
Good. Where's Yandy? Is she in?
I don't think so. I don't think yet. Okay. I was waiting to see.
Can you hear me okay? My audio?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can perfectly, yeah. I look a little dark. Does it look dark to you?
No. That's better right there.
Let me see if I turn I have a ring light. Let me turn it up a little bit.
Me too.
Is that better or worse?
No, I think that's good. I can see your face really nice.
Okay. I'll come up a little bit.
Okay. So, let me see. I don't see her just yet.
Okay.
HU, you know. Okay. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time.
Okay.
So we can get started.
Yeah.
And then when she joins in, I'll make sure I ask her questions.
Awesome. Let's do it. I got a lot to talk to you about anyway. I'll tell you why when we start, but let's do it.
I'm so excited. Okay, so for everyone that's tuning in, welcome to That's What's Up Entertainment News. This is another session. So I'm going to be interviewing both Cathleen Trigg Jones and Yandy Smith Harris. Kathleen, she's here.
Hey. Hey, Yandy.
Hi. How
my
are
sister.
You?
Hey, I'm so glad you could make it. So excited.
Of course.
I don't know why your name says you. Does it say you to you guys, or does it say Cathleen Trigg Jones?
Nope, it says Cathleen Trigg Jones.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
In all your glory, beautiful.
Got it. Look at that hair, Yandy. I love it.
You know, I'm trying something different.
Yeah.
That color is so nice. I'm going to give all that I can, and I'm going to do new. I'm going to do old, but I'm going to try everything.
Yes.
Girl power. Okay, so to open us up real quick, I have with me today two amazingly beautiful panelists for That's What's Up Entertainment News. I have Emmy Award-winning journalist and producer Cathleen Trigg Jones. Kathleen has had her hand in several productions such as We Are the Joneses, Power, Madam Secretary, along with something that she is pioneering called iWoman TV, which I'm super excited to hear about.
Yep.
And she also had the opportunity to be the press assistant for the newly president-elect Joe Biden, which is very, very cool. And my other panelist, she is an entertainment powerhouse, film producer, entrepreneur, TV personality, and motivational speaker, Miss Yandy Smith Harris. Yandy has had her hand in so many projects. She's got to work with musical artists such as 50 Cent, Missy Elliott, and got to be on so many shows, one you may know, called Love and Hip Hop New York. And I'm just so excited to talk to this entrepreneur, this media mogul. So guys, I'm really ready to start the interview. Let's just jump right in.
Wow. Well, good morning and happy Martin Luther King Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Jazz.
Powerful Black Woman Day as well. That's absolutely birthday to a true king that definitely inspires and motivates us.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So, Jasmine, I just want to warn you that Yandy and I are sisters. We're beyond just media colleagues. We are sisters, so we're going to be rubbing up on each other a lot. And just pumping each other up. And I just wanted to add to your introduction that Yandy is just an inspiration. So you take everything you possibly can from the two of us today. Aside from all of her, TV accomplishments, she's just a freaking amazing woman, a mother, a wife, an inspiration to young girls like yourself. And yes, she's also your HU sister. So
yes.
Cathleen, I love you so much. You already know that. I love your spirit. I love your energy. I love just how you've paved the way for so many of us. And when I say she is legendary, she is legendary. If you look at her Rolodex, honey, she has been on stages with many and newscasted with all. She's definitely amazing. And I'm so blessed to even have her as my friend and my sister.
Amen. Amen. All right, Jazz, what you got?
Okay. To start off, I have a question that you guys can both answer. And it's just, what got your start in your careers? What was really the beginning for the both of you?
All right, go ahead, Yandy.
So I'll start. The beginning for me was absolutely Howard University. And, I can't remember trigonometry or statistics, that stuff. But what I will say college was amazing for me was learning how to navigate in different spaces, learning how to prioritize, learning how to multitask, because a lot of what I did at Howard is reflective of my life now. So at Howard, I had to decide. Now at Howard, I don't know, you know about Howard, but you can be a full-time student. You can be a full-time activity thrower, activity goer, and you can be a full-time party girl as well. So at Howard, I was a full-time student. I graduated with honors. My mom made me pay for it after my scholarship was over. So I had to work a full-time job. And then I also partied full time. Okay. And now when I got into the music industry, that was a lot of what my life was like. I had to work full time. I looked at my internship when I was an intern as me getting my master's degree, kind of. Because that was where I was gaining the experience to be in that business. So I was working and learning full time. And then also being in the space that I was in, I had to go out with the artists. I had to go to DJs and give them CDs and records at the time. So I also had to party. But my priority was getting up. I had to be to work at 9. And I would get there early because I never wanted to get docked. When I was an intern, we got docked if we were late.
Yeah.
And then I had to prepare myself to be able to do the night thing because I had to go to parties to deliver music to DJs. So being at Howard really taught me how to navigate and prioritize my life. And then also a lot of the relationships I've made in Howard are relationships that I've been able to keep in this industry and use in this industry. I can't say that it's always been because I was the smartest girl in the room, but I absolutely will out-nice you. I will absolutely outbuild relationships. And in a lot of the spaces, my relationships have really helped me with my success. And all of those things I've learned from my foundation at Howard.
Yeah.
Then after that, I became an intern at Violator Music and Management. And I worked with tons of artists. And there, it really taught me how to put morals over kind of even success. A lot of people I realized that started with me compromised on who they were, compromised on some of their morals, compromised on their ethical codes to be in certain rooms, to get certain places, to do certain things. And that was something I just was not willing to do. And then I realized that that has given me longevity in this business because, you know, a lot of men and women sacrifice what they believe in, sacrifice their ethics to get where you are. But people remember, and people, oh, that's the one that did this, or that's the one that was, you know, mean and nasty, or that's the one that was over here doing this with that guy. And people remember those things. You might get that job you want for right now, but when you want to have a long-term position in any industry and in any space, you want to make sure you can be proud of who you are ethically and morally. And then also it's something that other people can say, okay, I know her character, I know what she's about, and I respect her character. That's important as well. And my foundation in music and TV kind of came from all that I learned at Violator. And then really relationships have helped me along the way. I did a lot of begging, like, I need this job, I need this job. I know that I'm the one for the job, let me manage. I got told no a lot of the time. I got told no more times than I got told yes in the beginning. So from that, I learned resilience and I learned perseverance, that I got to just keep pushing through those no's. I got to keep pushing through you're not ready yet. You want to go on tour with Missy, you got to wait and do this tour with Tweet. Oh, now that you're on tour with Missy, you want to do this tour that has Beyonce and Alicia Keys on it. Let me see if you can do it this way. And then maybe later you can do that. And I had to be patient and I had to wait my time. And every single thing that I wanted to do, I've been able to touch or do. And now there's so many more things in this TV space, in this kind of walking in my purpose and living in my purpose space, because that's what I'm all about now, that I want to do. On the entertainment side and the management side, I have done so many things and I'm satisfied. But now that I'm moving into a new space, I'm learning. Although I don't have the title of intern, sometimes I feel like an intern. I sat in Kathleen's office and asked a bunch of questions, and we brainstormed on many ideas and got advice from her, because I think my foundation and me starting every day is a new start. Every day there's a new way for me to learn. And as I transition into new spaces, you know, I'm not really doing music management as much anymore. So now I'm transitioning into producing and directing and film and television, and also walking in my purpose and living in my light. I'm learning. So one of my very close friends and walking in my purpose as well is Tamika Mallory, who is getting ready to be on another panel. And I think wherever you start, whatever you want your position to be, whatever you want your job or whatever your passion is, have the mindset is, I'm going to go in humble. I'm going to learn all that I can, whether it's a title of intern, a title of assistant, or if it's the title of I'm an office cleaner. Because I started cleaning my now partner's office. I was cleaning Mona's office, and now we're partners on shows. And Love and Hip Hop was something that we partnered on as well. But I started out cleaning her office. That was my job title. I was her assistant's intern. So that's kind of where I got my start. I talk a lot, so whenever you need me just to be like, okay, button it up, you just let me know.
Well, that was amazing. As a communications major at Howard, it's really inspirational to hear you start there and see the way that you're growing. It's so inspirational.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
I hope you're taking notes, and I hope anyone that's watching is taking notes, because you know, Yandy dropped so many dimes in that, and I just want to kind of piggyback off of it, because our paths are not so different. And you'll find that I think people that really make it often come from humble beginnings, because when you have to struggle, you figure things out really quick. And my case was similar. First, I want to give a huge shout out to HBCUs. You know, I went to Delaware State. It wasn't exactly Howard. It was an hour and a half away. But, you know, when I got to Delaware State, similar to you, Jazz, I started out as a journalism major. They didn't have mass communications at Delaware State. They only had journalism. That was as close as I could get. And they had theater. So I started out as an acting and journalism major. But I knew since I was 7 years old, I wanted to be on television. 7 years old. So I actually, when I first got there as a freshman, went marching into the president's office, you know, demanding a meeting and asking how we could get mass communications at the school.
Wow.
And he said that he actually had been thinking about it. and that they didn't have it, but that he was willing to allow me to work with them to try to, to come up with a program. So I actually helped found the first Mass Communication Society at Del State. We didn't have the major yet, but I founded the Mass Communication Society. I was the first president. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Let's just be honest. And the thing that Yandy said is so true, is that you're always really an intern, just meaning that you're always learning, and never be afraid to be super humble. I was really humble. I didn't know much, but I knew what I wanted to do. So I did that. We actually modeled the program at Delaware State after Howard University's math program. And we even hired the professor from Howard to come and help build it. And you know when it started? It started the year after I graduated. They finally got the math major, and today it is their #1 major, their biggest major at the school. So I say, don't allow. You need to find a place where you're comfortable and where you know that you can set your foundation. What I love about HBCUs like Howard and Delaware State is that it's a family. When you go to an HBCU, sometimes we used to joke and say it was like grade 13. Right, because when you go to a HBCU, it's almost like you get that support, almost like being home, right? It's almost like you kind of get out of your parents' house, but you got mamas everywhere looking out for you. You got daddies everywhere. Your professors care. Everyone seems to care about this potential that they see in you. And that's what, for me, Delaware State changed my life. It really did. It gave me a foundation. It gave me an opportunity to do anything I wanted. How could I start a major? I went there and literally started a major. I did so many outside internships. I interned at the radio stations locally. I interned at the TV stations locally. I didn't allow the fact that Delaware State didn't have everything I needed to stop me from pursuing it. I went out and found it. And like Yandy, I went into a TV station and said, can I just take your garbage out so that I can so I can learn how to be a reporter? And the news director ended up hiring me when I graduated from college. It was my first job on TV, was that station where I went and said, can I just take the trash out? And that became my first reporter job. And from there, I just happened upon Biden at the time, who was a senator in Delaware. I interviewed him once or twice, and then I was coming off of a train one day. We bumped into each other. I was actually a single mom in college. I had my oldest daughter when I was 19, but it didn't stop me. It made me realize that I just got to fight a little harder. I got to put myself through. I got to work 3 jobs while my friends are partying and hanging out. I got to work a little harder, but I know what I want to do in life. And I think that at the time, Senator Biden just saw that spark. He saw that in me, and he asked me to come work for him. And that was the second, I call it angels in my life. Delaware State, my parents adopting me, because I was also adopted, I consider my first angels in my life. Going to an HBCU was another, gift in my life. And then bumping into Biden on that train that day was the next gift, because what he showed me was I was bigger than just Delaware, that there was a whole world outside of Delaware, and that I could do anything, be anything I wanted if I just worked hard and made the right connections and treated people with dignity and kindness, and not being afraid, to lean on people for help and humbling yourself. And that foundation really gave me, in my opinion, the wings to really soar and go after everything that I wanted in my career and in my life.
That's right. Let me just say really quickly, too, I want you guys to make sure you take what she said. It's so important that you understand things don't just happen by chance, right? You see something you want, you meet someone randomly, you can go get it no matter what it is. Randomly on the train, she met the president-elect of the United States and didn't waste the opportunity because he was an older white man or because he was from a different place, didn't speak her language. She said, let me introduce myself. So first key, being nice, stepping out of your comfort zone and making sure you're very determined in what you want. Hi, my name is Cathleen. What's your name? What do you do? It's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to say, hey, well, my name is Yandy and I'm into this. This is what I want to do. And figure out an exchange and where you guys can cross paths and where you guys can help each other. And a lot of times, it may be someone that's older, or it may be someone that's younger, or it may be someone that doesn't live on your street, or that lives up the block, or might not be your same ethnicity. But the thing is, you have to know what you want. You have to be comfortable within yourself to get out there and really start those conversations. Someone posted in the chat that your net worth is your network is your net worth. I hear that all the time. But in order to build that network of people, you have to talk.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to get out there, step your foot in the door and say hello. That's the very first step of success. Saying hello. It starts there, and then being able to say, everybody likes something for free. I don't care who you are, where you're from. People always ask, can you be my mentor? Can I be your mentee? Can you help me with this? Some of us are just busy. We don't always have the time to just pour into someone all the time. But what we can do is, if someone says, hey, Yandy, I know you got an event. I want to help set up some chairs. And while we're setting up those chairs and we're talking and we're answering questions, there you're getting your mentor mentee because you're also giving something. So be willing to give in order to get. And that's another way for you to get yourself in the doors of all of these rooms you want to get into. Hey, I noticed that you guys are having, if you want to be in journalism, you want to be on TV. Hey, I know you guys have cameras. Can I clean your lenses on your cameras? And while you're cleaning those lenses, you're learning. Kathleen started taking out garbage. I was cleaning Mona's office. I had a college degree and I graduated with honors, but I started out in the business that I'm in now, cleaning an office. Take away from that. And a lot of, I have a teenage daughter and she is very, sometimes you teenagers feel very entitled. Like, I'm not doing that. I can't, I'm too good for that. Baby, in this business or really any industry, when you want to be, the more humble you come in, the higher up you go. And that's just kind of my word.
Yeah. And let me, if I can piggyback again off of a few things Yandy said, not to, Jasmine, I want you to get your questions in, but this is good. Like we just have so much passion behind what we're talking to you about, because we've seen those who have been successful and we've seen those, who aren't. And the only difference is ambition and determination. And I think what you put out there in the universe truly does come back to you. Going back to President-elect Biden, I had met him once before, but he should not have remembered me. I was in a job where I was making so little money. I could have been miserable at that job. I was a reporter, but I was making so little, and I was a single mom, so the burden was on my shoulders to figure out how I was going to support my family. Yet I was so excited for the opportunity to just be on TV. It didn't matter that I was literally making $12,000 a year and could barely pay my bills. It didn't even matter to me because I was like, but I'm on TV. This is what I've always wanted to do. And that impression, when I met him for the first time and asked if I can interview him on a story, made him remember me. I left an impression so that when I ran into him on that train, pushing my baby stroller, he remembered me and he asked me on the spot to come work for him. The other thing I want to say in that is two things. You don't want to act like where you are. You want to always carry yourself like where you want to be. I tell my interns this: don't come in dressing like you are who you are right now, right? Because you want to come in and make an impression. You want people to see the potential in you. So carry yourself the way that you want people to respond and respect you, if that makes sense, because they then can see something. They're not going to see that little girl. In my case, I was 19, 20 years old with a baby in college. Who would have thought that I would make it beyond that, right? But I never felt that way. I felt like, all right, I'm a mother, not just a single mom. I'm a mother who's getting a college degree, working as hard as I can to get straight A's, putting myself through college, working 3 jobs, doing internships, doing everything I can because I know where I'm going in life, not where I am right now, but where I'm going in life, right? And I made an impression on every single step along the way. I leaned on everybody that I could for knowledge. And I made an impression that made them then want to reach back when there were opportunities and pull me up. And so
that's right.
Yeah, I think it's all about sort of like planting seeds in a way.
Yes.
I know with me at Howard, it feels like people are always doing such big and amazing things. And it sort of feels like when you start comparing yourself to other people, you think that you're not doing it big enough, you're not doing it grand enough, you're not with the right people. But what it really comes down to is understanding that nothing that you are doing is too small if it's taking those steps in the direction that you want to go.
Right.
And so, you know, if you're cleaning offices, but you're in that room, that's what's important. And if you're talking to someone and you stumble or you slip up, at least you're talking, you know? So it's really important. It's really important to just remember that nothing you do is too small. As long as you're going forward, forward is really all that matters.
Yes.
And so it's super inspirational to hear you guys' stories like that, because that's definitely where I'm at in my career and my life, and I can't wait to keep moving forward.
And you will. I mean, you're doing this. When I was, you know, the funny thing is, Yandy did, you know, you worked in the media department also at Howard, and I was doing it at Dell State, but I didn't have access to celebrities. You know, I didn't have access to anything outside of my little town of Delaware. But everyone who came through that university for a concert or anything, I had my little radio show at Dell State, and I would have them on, from Busta Rhymes to, you know, some of the rappers in the 80s, Steady B and Queen Latifah, and all these people, anyone who came through there, and even some of the greats, you know, Nancy Wilson and Mickey Howard and people. I took advantage of every single opportunity to do everything I could to get the experience that I knew I needed to set me up. I never saw myself as a small or as a big fish in this little pond. I always saw myself, or the other way around. I never saw myself as a small fish. I always thought, I'm actually a big fish in the smallest state. Delaware is called the small wonder. I'm a big fish in this small state, and people around me don't know my name yet, but they think I'm just, you know, I'm kind of blending in right now, but just wait until they see where I'm going. I always knew where I was going.
Yep.
That's amazing. That is super, super amazing. So the next sort of question that I have for you guys, since we're on this topic about moving forward, what was something that happened in your life or in your career that made you feel like you were moving backwards, almost stopping? Was there ever a time you felt like, you know, maybe this wasn't the right path, or maybe you weren't going to be able to go as far as you guys have come so far?
Oh my gosh, many times. Absolutely. So when I was in college, every year I got a scholarship from the Gap for my freshman year. And I interned for the Gap when I was in high school. Then I interned for their corporate office in San Francisco all 4 years that I was in college. So I knew, and I went through their retail management program. I knew when I was graduating, I was going to be a fashion merchandiser for the Gap. At this point, I had interned for them for 6 years. I was going to come out at the top of my class with a salary that was close to the hundreds of thousands. And the year that I was graduating, the CEO, his name was Mickey Drexler, again, and let me just tell you really quickly, a random person that I met in the hallways of my classroom in high school. He was there, and I was like, now I went to school in Harlem, and in Harlem in my school, everything was all black. So when I saw this white older man with gray hair coming in his business suit, I was like, hi, I'm Yandy. Who are you? And he's the CEO of the Gap. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the Gap. And I went through all these reasons why I love the Gap. And at the time I wore uniforms. And I'm like, you guys need to make inexpensive uniforms. I said, because I can't afford Gap white shirts and Gap blue skirts. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, and I need to work in the store. You guys need to hire 15-year-olds. So fast forward, they wound up putting a Gap store in my high school. And then I was running the Gap store in the high school. It was only our uniforms. And then they also hired me to be an intern for the Gap. 2 years later, I got a scholarship from the Gap to go to Howard. I would not have been able to go to Howard without that because we had no money. But I just knew that I was going to work for the Gap. That was my dream. That was my goal. That's all I wanted. The year that I was graduating, the Gap took a huge plunge. Mickey Drexler left. That was the CEO. He left to go work for another company. He went to leave and be the CEO at another company, J. Crew. And in the program that I was interning through, the retail management program was no longer. So I was going to come in making the regular salary that everyone else started. So I was like, all these years I gave my life to the Gap, and I'm going to come in making, $20,000, $30,000. No, I'm not doing it. So I literally left college like, what am I going to do? My only experience was the Gap. And just randomly, I went to an interview at violator, where I was told they're not looking for anyone. They're not looking for anyone. 3-4 times. That's where the begging started. That's when I learned my career in begging. And I was like, I'm telling you, I'm great. I graduated from Howard. I know that I've only worked for the Gap, but I can answer phones really well. I can organize really well. I can clean your office. You need an office cleaner? Let me show you how good I can clean. And that's kind of how I got the job and how I got in the door. But every time, and then when I would go home, and sometimes my biggest naysayers, and I'm going to whisper this just in case my mother's tuned in, my grandmother, they would be like, you got a college degree. Why are you cleaning offices? So sometimes your biggest normally support system is not your biggest support system, but you have to be strong. That self-education that Cathleen was talking about, you got to be able to edify yourself. Listen, I'm starting cleaning her office, but give me 2-3 years. I'm going to be sitting right beside her. That's going to be my partner. She's not going to be my boss no more. And that's really what happened. That's really what happens. And you have to be able to sometimes mute the noise. And that noise could be mommy. That noise could be daddy. That noise could be boyfriend, girlfriend, your best friend. Because they don't get it. They don't see your vision. And sometimes only you can see what your next step is going to be, because it's something that wakes you up out your sleep. I used to wake up like, okay, I know when I graduated to answering her phones and I was the assistant, I was like, I was Missy's manager, and I was basically answering the phone when Missy called or answering the phone when Buster called. But, somebody asked, Yandy, what are you doing at Violator? Oh, I'm managing. Because I felt like that's what I was. That was my goal, and I had to speak it into existence. But leading up to that point, there were so many setbacks. Me cleaning that office in the moment was a setback because all my friends was fly. They was wearing, at that time it was like Parasuco jeans and Sergio jeans. I had my same one pair of black ashy Jordache jeans and one pair of blue jeans, and my shoes was leaning over to the side. But I was like, one day I'm gonna be there with y'all. But in that moment, those were looking like setbacks to me. But I was like, I got to do this to get where I want to be. And literally every single job I've ever had, every single experience I've ever had has always been met with a setback first. Nothing has ever been easy that has contributed to my success. Nothing. Even Love and Hip Hop. So what many don't know was I had a development deal with VH1. My client, Jim Jones, at the time, we were shooting this show with the development deal. They gave me a bunch of money to shoot this show. And he just got sick of shooting the show. He was like, y'all always in my business. All these cameras is in my face. And he's like, I don't want to do it no more. I was like, what do you mean you don't want to do it anymore? No, we got this money. We got to deliver this to these people. And he was like, no, I'm good. So I had all of this footage I shot. The client and his family decided they didn't want to do it to that capacity. So I went to my old boss, who was Mona, and I'm like, Mona, what am I going to do? They don't want to do this anymore. And at the time, she was pitching a show somewhere else. And she was like, well, let me see, introduce me to whomever you know over there. Maybe we can join the world. Maybe the show about women in hip hop can be joined with your family, the Jones family, and we can make a show from that. And that was the birthplace of Love and Hip Hop. But even with that, where Love and Hip Hop is now, which is a huge brand, a franchise show, it started out with my client saying, I'm good. I don't want to do it no more. And I literally cried like, oh my God, I got these people's money. They gonna think I stole their money and I can't deliver this project, and after the tears, I was like, all right, let me pull up my sleeves. I got to get to work. Now, let me see who I can call. Again, it's those relationships, right? Imagine if I would have left Violator and I was like, Mona, I don't need you no more. I'm doing my own thing. I'm tired of being your assistant. I'm tired of running around with these artists for you. Imagine if I would have left on that note. The later future business that we had together would never have happened because I would have ruined that relationship. So sometimes you got to pull up those sleeves. You got to cry a little bit, but you got to get back to work. And that's what I just
push forward.
Yeah, and now, you guys, Love and Hip Hop is almost like a household name to many people.
Yeah. And it all starts with adversity. Nothing easy is going to really bring you where you want to go. So those setbacks are actually preparing you to propel.
No question. And similar to Yandy, for me, even though I now wear, making it through college as a single mother is kind of like a crown of honor. The truth of the matter is, it was not something that I planned. And it was an absolute setback and could have actually derailed me completely if I hadn't had the foresight and the dream that was planted in me. And I wasn't working with the strongest foundation. So I love working with young girls. I'm launching this network now called iWoman TV. And it was really birthed from my own need to be able to tell my own story, but to also help others who think that they, because of what they came from, they don't have the same opportunities in life to be successful. Because I was an orphan. I was left at an orphanage when I was a baby, and I was shuffled through foster homes until I was adopted. And so I grew up really always feeling like I'm nobody, and I had to fight the voices in my head that also convinced me that I'm not destined for greatness, and that if anyone ever really knows that I came from nothing, then they won't ever want to hire me, or they won't want to be my friend. I'm never going to get married. I'm never, all these things, these voices that were on one shoulder trying to drag me down. And like Yandy said, sometimes the greatest dream crushers are the people you love the most, not because they don't love you, right? But because they don't know. Like a lot of the stuff that absolutely what Yandy's talking about, what I'm talking about is, and what you're trying to do, Jasmine, it's uncharted territory. A dream is only your dream. It's not everyone around you's dream. So they can't even understand. Yeah. All they can try to do is tell you what they know. So what you have to do is, with all due respect, I love you dearly, but this is where I separate. And this is where I put my tunnel vision on. And I felt like the biggest setback for me was when I got pregnant in college. This voice on this shoulder was saying, see, everybody was right about you. You didn't come from anything, and you're not destined to be anything. Now figure this out. Now what you going to do, right? And so for me, though, I put my boss cap on and I said, well, you're just going to work harder. You're just going to work harder. And you're going to have to work 3 jobs instead of 1. And you're going to have to be more focused. And you're going to have to get even better grades because no one expects it of you, right? And so that was a potential in my life where I had a choice. I could go left and right. I mean, in life, I could go right in life, or I can go straight. But no one could make that decision for me. And the path that I chose was going to be a direct impact on where I ended up in my life. And I chose to go straight. And I chose to block out the voices, get out of relationships, stop messing around with guys who I knew shouldn't be in my life to begin with, and focus on.
That's a big one too now. That's another day.
Well, while we're on the topic of setbacks, since we are all, beautiful Black women, what is it like being a Black woman trying to move forward in the entertainment business, or just move forward in this sort of job world, period? Because sometimes it feels like we're looked at as stereotypes, or people try to tell us who we are before we even have a chance to speak up for ourselves. Sometimes it just feels like every step we take forward, there's people trying to push us back 3 steps behind. And so it just feels like we have to be at our best just for people to look at us as average. What is that like for you guys? What's your experience with it?
See, for me, that's the beauty of being a Black woman, right? I walk into the rooms and I surprise you every time I open up my mouth. I walk into the rooms and I excel greater than you thought. And I'm like, booyah, I did that. Only Black girl can say booyah like that. So it's like there's absolutely PTSD that when we walk in, we feel like we have to do so much more, work so much harder, expect not to get as much money. But when you do, right, and when you claim and understand who you are and the worth you bring to every room and you walk in, and the reality of it is we are the wave. We are what's cool. We are the highest spending power. Like, we're the ones that set the trends. We're the ones that define what's cool. We're the ones that define what the culture is. So when I walk into these spaces, I walk in with that on my back. Like, I know I'm cool with who I am, and I know what I bring to the table. And then I also walk into a lot of these spaces like, you need me. And I know that you need me. And I also know that you're going to front like you don't need me. You're going to front like I need you. But I know that I'm not looking for a seat at your table, because I got the whole wood and nails. I got that on my back. I'm bringing it. I've already made the table. I'm just going to help you to all the seats, And I think when you walk into a room with that type of confidence, you can only but be successful, right? And everything you do, some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us want to get in TV, some of us want to get into music. whatever it is, when you create a product or you provide a service, you have to walk into the space knowing like, oh, I have the best. Like there's no one that has a product like me, like my skincare line. I walk into every room. If it's someone new I'm meeting, I bring a box of my skincare and I'm like, oh, you need to try this. Oh, you use oil of Olay? That's great, but you need to try Yale skincare because it's going to change your life. And I'm very clear on that when I walk in, because if I don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. And I think that's just like how I feel as a proud Black woman. I don't know if you guys can see my shirt, but when I walk into these rooms, I'm so proud of our accomplishments in sports. I'm proud of our accomplishments in film and TV. I'm proud of our accomplishments in medicine. I'm proud of every space that we're in. And I'm at this point now where don't recognize us. I don't care. Emmys don't want to give us what we need. The Oscars don't want to give us what we need. I'm good. We're going to start to recognize ourselves.
Exactly.
And we're going to celebrate each other. We're going to have, me and Kathleen took an amazing trip. And the trip was just us women celebrating each other. That was Emmys for me. That was Oscars for me. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm good with that. You know, I don't have to be praised by your standards for me to feel like I'm important, like I'm great. I'm now, because I wasn't always, now to the point where I'm going to celebrate me and I'm going to celebrate other women that are doing amazing things like me. And that's going to be my Oscars.
Every day.
And I'm good with
every
that.
day. And just celebrating you, Jasmine, because, you know, you were doing, I couldn't do what you're doing right now back when I was your age, right? So the fact that you're even holding your own, that you are taking advantage of this opportunity, that you are poised and beautiful and bright and the world is open, take advantage of you. We celebrate you today because you are why we do what we do. There was a time when we were coming up, Yandy and I may not have been able to be friends in this business, right? Because they tried to pin us against each other, thinking that Black women couldn't help each other. And yet she and I were very different. I've always helped Black women. I've always been comfortable bringing other people along. But I want you to lean on other people, lean on us, lean on that person behind you who needs to be helped, because we as women, Black women, and as women in general, we give birth to the universe. So, you know, everyone tries to make us feel, they try to hold us down. And of course they want to keep us separate because we're too powerful together. But I say, continue to celebrate one another, lift one another up, and lean on each other, you know, to get to that next step. But also don't forget to pull someone up with you.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're this has been so much fun, and I've loved getting to talk to you guys so much. You don't understand how much this means to me. I've watched you guys for a long time, so getting the chance to speak to you has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
And I just want everyone watching to know that your dreams, they don't have to just stay dreams. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter how far you're trying to go.
That's right.
If you continue to take those steps and plant those seeds and say, I'm going to keep moving forward, that's exactly what you're going to do. Don't wait for people to give you a seat at their table.
Or stand. Or just stand up. It's up here.
Yes. Exactly.
People are going to follow what's confident. People are going to follow what's cool. And that's you.
That's right.
You are who you believe you are.
That's right.
So if you believe you are talented, if you believe you're going to go places, if you believe that I am going to be that CEO, I am going to produce this, I am the actress, then that's who you're going to be. So just never let anything stop you. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're only going to move forward. So thank you guys so much for joining us today for That's What's Up Entertainment News. Thank you so much to our two wonderful panelists for pouring into me, into everyone here. I can't wait to just watch your careers continue to flourish and keep following you guys down your journey.
Thank you.
I can't wait to work with you guys one day, because that's where I'm going to be.
Make sure you hire me. Hire us. We're going to need jobs.
Well, you're hired in my book, so you just have to decide when you want to start.
Exactly.
God bless. Happy MLK Day.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
Thank you so much. Great job, Jasmine.
Bye, Yandy.
Bye.